Hello Rift fans, and welcome back to the Rift Archive. This is another quick tip video. I was inspired by something that happened during one of my streams on Twitch, and I wanted to do a very brief walkthrough of some of the add-ons I have installed in Rift. There's a couple of them that are very detailed. I'm not going to get into that here. I will put links in the description for where to download the various add-ons, as well as any links or anything that I think is useful to explain how to use them better. So let's get into it. The add-ons can be found in System, right? They're right down here in Add-ons. If you click this, this will show the add-ons that appear installed. And for them to be installed, they show up in the add-on directory. You can open it from here. There's the add-on directory. We'll go through these in order. So these two that I have disabled, I believe someone gave them to me and they're like, oh yeah, you totally need these. They didn't work for me, so I'm not going to be able to cover them for you. But the first one is Completionist, and I actually added this recently because I wanted to see if I completed all of the quests in Dromheim. Completionist is this little icon up here. So to access it, you left click it, and it recognizes what zone you're in. It recognizes the quests that you have not completed in the given zone. There is a list of many zones in here. They'll show up when you're in the zone. And then there's a filter or a list of all these other types of things. I really didn't get that deep into this. I guess this is the filter of the quest that you want to see. If you do click a quest, it tells you what it is. It tells you the waypoint location. This is a useful thing. There is a settings for Completionist that lets you lock the icon button, hide the zones with no quest, and I guess it has the quest locations in it. I didn't think any of that was necessary. So this is a very simple add-on. The next add-on that we have, and I'm going to spend some time with this, is Kauurl's alerting system. So there is no icon for it. In order to access it, you go down here in the chat and you type K-alert. And we will move the add-ons out of the way. This is the alerting system. This is a very powerful tool. I use this to see when my buffs are up. I want to add a new one that's going to track the number of combat points. I think that's what they're called. So that I know when they hit 5, because I've recently added a legendary point here. I'll show you. I added the legendary version of this particular buff, and now it grants 5 combo points every second for 10 seconds. So I want to know when that's up. We'll go back. Let me step back for a sec. So you can have multiple sets of these alerts if you have multiple roles for your character, multiple, soul trees. If you're a newer non-gamer, you don't need to worry about that. As you can see, I only have one set. To see an existing alert that you set up, you must double click on it, left click, and it will show you these are all using the default image. To edit the layout of where these go, you push edit layout down here, and I've moved them down here. So I want to show you what happens when you make a new one. So I want to make a new one. When you make a new one, the screen looks blank. You see this skull, all this stuff is kind of empty. So one of the things you can do is you can change what picture you want for the particular alert. I discovered this very recently, was very excited by it. I want to use this one. There's more. Look at them all. There's so many. Let's go back to the one that I want. I was very excited by this. I want to use this one. There, you can have a buff, and you can type in the beginning letter, and all these different buffs come up. I believe they're holistic for all characters, because I think Viral Stream is in here. Yeah, Viral Stream is in here, and that's for my other character, a warrior. This tune does not have Viral Stream, but like it shows up. So this is holistic for all of the tunes, all of the different buff abilities that exist in game. So these buffs can exist on like the player or the pet, a friend, a foe. They could be active, missing, right? Then there are abilities. Again, type a letter. You get whatever you want. What I am after is a resource. So I'm after these combo points. That's what they're called, combo points. So I want the combo points. I want them on the player. I want them on me. And I want them to be above 4. I only want it to show up in combat. This says use default image, but there is none. So if you see this, make sure you uncheck that. And then you can go pick it. So I was premature in picking it earlier. You can pick it. And I'll show you what happens. So I want this to say like fire. And then it has like, this is the X and Y position of the graphic. This is the scale of the graphic and the opacity of the graphic. This is the text that shows up on top of the graphic. This is the opacity of the text, the location of the text, the size of the text, the font that you're using, the color. And to change the color, you move these little bars. Although I guess I gotta click out of it before I can move the little bars. See, there the color changed, right? Ooh. I can just type something. I was moving these earlier. There you go. Guess you gotta be, it has very sensitive of where it goes. You can do this one. Why is this one not want to move? I don't know why. Moves now. I want it to be white, so we'll be fine. So if I say save, actually it needs a name, right? So this is the combat combo points. All right. I say see, it's going to want a name. It'll yell at you if you don't put a name in. I say save. Now I have combo points. I go to edit layout. There it is up there, and look at it. It's huge, right? I don't want that to be so huge. So I can go in here and I can scale it down. So I want it to be 1/4 of that size. Oh wait, I didn't click on it. See? Learn from me, folks. Make sure you've clicked on it. Text fire. I wonder if I put top. I wonder what that does. Say save. Edit layout. Now it's up here. That's a little big. But I want it to be right about here. So I'm going to put the layout to have it right here. And say save. I will double click on this again. I may want it a little smaller. This text was too big, so I'm going to make this text maybe 20. See what that does. Edit layout. Ah, that looks a lot better. Still looks a little big though. How about 16? Yeah, top. Save. Edit layout. That looks very nice, so I can kind of position it right about there. And now we're good to go. And if for some reason, like, you mess up or something, I think if you hit clear, it resets back to this screen. So I did want to spend a little bit of time on this. I've learned this over time. I didn't really see any like documented guides online about this. There may be some YouTube videos that go into it. If there are, I'll link to them below. I do know if you select this and you right click on it, like you could delete it, move it, share it, export it. And I'm not, these are help things. Yeah, I didn't really play too much with that. So that is Kauurl's alerting system. That is a very powerful thing. I'm new in non-gamer people, right, in the first maybe 30 levels or so, you don't need it. But for something where you have to keep the buffs up, it does come in very handy. So let's go back to our add-ons. King Boss Mods is the next one. I will have some links in the description below for King Boss Mods. King Boss Mods is these two icons. This checkbox over here, if you left click on it, this is your raid ready check. And this is meant for endgame level 70, I think, for the most part, because this is a level 70 thing. This is a level 70 thing. This is a level 70 thing. I don't know what these other things are. So, and then if you left click it again, it disappears. To move it, you right click on it. The same applies for the little icon with the king. If you left click this, you'll see all these things show up, right? So these are configurations of, you know, the boss, the target, your cast bar is down here. There's a focus cast bar. There's the time and the rage and what phase you're in. This all comes in very handy when you're doing raids and dungeons. I did not use this until I hit level 70. So I bet you're wondering how to configure it. This doesn't have a dismiss window when you turn it on to configure it. So most people, they hide it down here out of the way, because when this stuff activates, this may show up. I think that's why we hide it down there. There is so much in here, right? All these global settings, timers, phase monitor, cast bar, screen alerts, whatever the mechanic spy is, right? There's so much about this I don't even know. I do know down here, this is doing endgame. This is the highest endgame raid, Bastion of Steel. And then this is Tartaric Depths in normal mode. And these are the 4 bosses within there. I'm assuming that these are the 3 bosses in Bastion of Steel. This is the Intrepid Rise of the Phoenix. This is what I'm supposed to be doing with my level 70 tune that I'm not, because I don't think I'm good enough. These are the 4 bosses in there. This is the Tartaric's Depths in easy mode. These are the 4 bosses. This is Queen's Foci. This is the boss in there. And then these 3 are 3 dungeons, right? I think Enclave of Uncut is a dungeon. And then, like, there's configuration for each of these bosses in each of these like, I don't even know what this stuff does. I used it primarily for configuring these bars and having this in Rage. Very useful, very good for raids. Yeah, because it works in the daily raid rift too. I'll know when the boss is going to do something, which is important. So very useful, but again, end game. Next add-on, the Minion Sender. So I don't use the Minion Sender, but the Minion Sender is this guy right up here. So if you left click on him, you'll see this little badge show up. If you hover over the badge, you'll see this. And I think this is saying that I have 3 empty slots for a minion. Let's check and see. I do. I have 3 empty slots for my minions to run. So if I left click this, it just sent one out on a 15-minute quest. And it did that because it's configured to do so. If you right click on this little medallion, you'll see it did this. It's configured to do this. I could configure it to do the long ones. There's priority, stat matching, filters. I don't even know what any of this stuff is. To make this window go away, you right click on the medallion again. And once these are done, I think they show up over here on the red, and you can click it and it will auto loot. I do not use this. To make this little medallion go away, you left click this little icon again. To move this, you right click it, and you can move it and position it where you want. I don't really use it because I like to control what I do with my minions myself. Okay, next, RareDar. I do use RareDar. I like my RareDar. There isn't much you can do with this. Right click left click, right click expands it and contracts it. Left click moves it around, which is the opposite of these other guys. So if you ever see it like this and it gets stuck, right click it. This will show up with a green radar if there is a rare near you in game. And I think it's in my gameplay. You'll see me, I find these rares and I go and I kill them. The RareDar is telling me that they're there. Very useful add-on. The Rift meter, by far most important add-on. Well, maybe that and the teleporter. Rift meter is this meter right here. There is some configuration you can do with the Rift meter about what you see, what the colors are, stuff like that. For the most part, you just install it, it opens up, and you leave it, and it does what it's supposed to do. So let's go summon our pig and go kill some things. And I'll show you how it works. Just real quick. Because why not, right? I need to definitely zoom out. Put my add-ons out of the way. Let's go kill a bobberoo or something. I know there's gonna be... Oh no, there's a wolf. Okay, we'll kill a wolf. Alright. So we'll buff up. Do it again. Oop. We can't do buff number 2. I've had that happen. I don't know why it happens, but it does. It's active. Or it was. There it is. Right there. Oh, it's telling me I have 5. There you go. Oh, I got 5 again. Ta-da! See? So this is my alerting system. I love that. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for the damage. So when there are multiple people near you, you will see multiples. It lists in highest damage done to lowest damage done. If you left click, it shows you which attack, command caused the most damage. It scrolls all the way down. If you left click it again, it tells you your max hit, your crit, all these other things. I don't really look at this. All right, and then if you right click it, you go back to the beginning. I also use the wheel. I middle click the wheel and it resets it. There's a way to change this to show your enemies. So that's the wolf. If I left click him, he mauled me. This was all his max hit and min hit and all the things that he did. But I always have it showing the players. You can clear the data. It'll say clear data, you say yes. I tend to do that after raids, Colossi events, stuff like that, because it just kind of hangs around on your screen. I don't know what force combat start does. I'm not really sure what that is. And report, I believe, reports bugs out. And of course, X closes it. I always leave this up. I never really cared what this was doing until level 70 endgame, because that's where they care about what your DPS is. So that is the Rift meter. The very last one is the teleporter, right? That was just called teleporter. Teleporter. That is this little icon over here. And I know if you've seen my gameplay, I use this frequently. To move this around, you have to hold the left click and press the right click and it will turn gray and you can move it around. So see how that's gray? And then if that lets it, you can move it, right? If you want to lock it in place, you hold the left click and tap the right click and then it turns blue. And now it's locked in place. So let's move it back to where it was. Put it back over here. Left click, right click. And of course, this does all the portals. Now, all of these portals that you see here, they show up when you do planar attunement. So when you fill these to the second level, you get all these portals, right? All of them. Portal, portal, portal. So you really don't need this until you start to fill that up. You also get these summons as part of Planar Tumen as well. Because if you did this before you started filling these up, you would have the Soul Recall, and if you have Patron, you'd have the Patron's Fast Pass. That's all you'd have. No value there at all. The Tempest Bay one that I have came from Patron. I think in the blue loyalty tier, that's where I got it. And believe me, it took me a bit to get here. I mean, if I was willing to spend more money, I could probably get up to, like, I think the orange or the red tier. But I haven't felt the need to do that at this time. So that's my quick vid of the add-ons. Please check the description. There's going to be a lot of links in there. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.